Mouse Sports turn to ban.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to Game 1 of Mouse Sports vs. Alliance, a best of 3, and a crucial one at that. It's the G-1 Champions League, and we're finally back in the swing of things after a long delay, a hiatus, due to some unfortunate connection issues. Seems everything is okay. Mouse Sports got their 5th at the absolute last moment, but indeed, they got the full 5, so here we are. I'm LD, and I'm joined today by Luminous. Lumi, how you doing?
I am doing great, thank you for having me. And Alliance, with the first pick, will pick up Magnus. And S4 most likely will be playing it. He is, in fact, the son of Magnus. Meanwhile, on Mouse Sports side, Lifestealer and Rubik, it's going to be the first opening pick. The only thing I really want to point out here is that Lone Druid is getting the ban out here. Of course, a little bit of respect ban to Admiral Bulldog, but more importantly, a ban really geared towards the way that Alliance been playing lately. They pick up the Chen, they pick up the Lone Druid, and it's just so damn hard to stop that push because they have so much stuff in the front. It's hard to initiate against it, it's hard to actually stop the push. But Gyrocopter and Lifestealer is going to be the dual core here for Mouseport. And that's generally a very, very powerful way to start because Lifestealer is going to give a single target lockdown, and Gyrocopter, well, he is an AoE machine.
Yeah, we are doing a little bit of a speed draft because Mouse Sports, they don't really have reserve time, as mentioned. Did get that 5th at the last moment, but good news is we won't have a default win on any of the games. We're just going to have speed drafting, which apparently Alliance was saying Black is better when he speed drafts anyway. So we'll see if that's the case. But on this side of Alliance, a lot of pushing power. Pretty much a classic draft for them, like you mentioned. The Bulldog Prophet, the S4 Mag. S4 has really been such an impressive mid player. He makes the flashy plays, but also more consistent than most Western mids, I would say. It's not too often that you see S4 completely whiff an RP or get caught horribly out of position. You look at some other players like Korok, maybe more explosive as mids, but from time to time, they do overextend a bit. With S4, you pretty much know you're going to get a solid performance every game, and especially to a hero like Mag. He probably plays this hero in his sleep at this point. So on the side of Mouse, a strong in terms of the amount of damage they can put out, the lifesteal, the gyro, versatile lanes. But I feel when it comes to the mid game, if they're not in a good spot, we'll see what those last 2 picks are. But Alliance, they're going for some early towers, some early pressure, and their mid game control and death ball is going to be pretty strong. And for Mouse Sports, probably want to try and win this laning stage, spread the map, and avoid having to fight 5v5.
It's hard to win the laning stage against Alliance, though. I mean, they pick really safe lanes. They don't kind of overextend a la Dignitas. They pick lineups that generally win the laning stage, or at least go even. So Magnus, most likely going to win his laning stage. Nature's Prophet, not exactly the best laner. Most likely will start in the jungle and then teleport back to the top lane, given a situation. And you're going to have Chen in the jungle, so the safe lane is mostly going to be protected. My question is, what is Loda going to be playing today? Some of his more go-to heroes, such as Gyrocopter, Lifestealer is already being picked up by the other side, and Lycanthrope and Alchemist, 2 heroes that he's known to play lately, is already banned out. So Mouseport did their homework. And my question is he going to go that Shadow theme we see him play against, I believe, Dignitas in yesterday's TPL4 match? Or is he going to go something else? I feel like he needs to play a little bit tankier hero because there's a ton of burst damage coming out from Mouseport right now.
I think it may be an anti-mage game. You already have the Prophet, you have a Magnus to give him in power, so the split push will be even stronger. You don't really have a lineup that's necessarily... really built to end the game early. Like, you could with a Prophet and a Chen, but when they ban all the strong pushing carries, there's a Luna left. That would be the other big option I see. If they want to go for more of like a 5-man lineup, then maybe you go for something like the Luna. If you want to try and split push and just map control, get the early advantage, which, like you mentioned, is really the strength of Alliance, is generally their laning phase, and then snowballing from there, then I think you go for something like an anti-mage, because you've got the Prophet, and in synchronization with the anti-mage, you can keep all the lanes pushed, apply a lot of pressure, be even more aggressive knowing there's RP to back you up, there's a Chen to heal you if you get into harm's way. And for Mouse Sports right now, light on the lockdown. Maybe they go for something like an early Orchid if that AM does come out on the Lifestealer, but how early can you really get that on a Lifestealer? So we'll see. I feel like anti-mage is probably the safer way to play this, but if Alliance is feeling confident about their early to mid game, then maybe they go Luna.
Yeah, the lack of
or Dragonite. Dragonite is the other big one that we could see.
That is the one that we forget. I think there's also, the good old Loda Void, and let's not go there yet. But there's also Void as well.
It could work this game because there's a Lifestealer, and obviously Chronosphere is probably one of the best abilities in the game to lock him down. Plus you have Bash. I don't think a Void would necessarily be bad this game. I just feel like Alliance have picked a very strong laning lineup. Capitalize on that, get heroes that can sort of snowball the map control a little bit better. Void's more of a hero you pick when you're going for kind of a defensive, let's find an engagement here or there, and then sit back and farm. I feel like Alliance want to take the fight to Mouse in the mid game with the heroes they've drafted, and they'll go for what looks to be the EGM Windrunner here. So not often to hear that you see in that 4 role as of late, but something that he's really played well.
Yeah, especially when you have the Prophet set up with the Sprout, you could get some cheesy Shackle Shot, and that's going to be the initiation and stun that you need to actually initiate against a couple of these heroes, particularly Queen of Pain.
I guess it's actually a 5-position Windrunner since there's a Chen in the game. But that being said, it's a hard support Windrunner, something that's kind of faded out. And like you said, nice synergy with Sprout. Also gives them a spell that could come in handy versus that Queen of Pain later on. So what do you think, Lumi? Anti-Mage, Dragon Knight, Luna, those are the 3 big ones I see. It really depends on how they want to play the game. I mean, there are a lot of options. I don't think anyone is obviously better than the others, but now more Mousesports have picked up a 3rd hero that scales. So do you want to take this late with Prophet as basically your secondary semi-carry? That's dangerous.
I like DK a little bit more, particularly because Mouseport has a couple of heroes that's pretty good against Anti-Mage. So, or Quick Orchid from Queen of Pain could hurt. The Blink Stolen from Rubik, which gives them a free telekinesis, which is instant initiation, is pretty good against Anti-Mage as well. Alliance known to run DK. They ban out Darkseer, which is one of the good heroes against DK, because when the enemy team steals your dragon form, then you're suddenly, or steals the dragon illusion, and suddenly your team fight gets a little bit, you know, questionable. Also, Empower plus DK is pretty strong as well. So I'm feeling the DK, and Lions run it in the past before, but we'll see exactly what they pick up.
It gives them a nice late game option versus Lifestealer if it does go late. Dragon Knight isn't necessarily the hardest carry, but you get to level 16, there's that point in the game where you have a couple of items up, maybe a BKB, and then some other utility damage items like an Armlet, maybe a Maelstrom building towards an Assault Cuirass. Lifestealer can't really scratch you. You can kite him all day, and when Rage wears off, you stun him, and he will actually drop pretty quickly. So with Empower on his side, like you mentioned, could be a decent pick, and I think for Alliance, that's really just the question, is what kind of an approach do they want to take to this game? Are quite a few options for them, and I think the one thing that we know we'll see is this game is a certain style, which is a lot of early to mid game pressure coming out from Ake and EGM. With the Windrunner pick not super early, we're not going to see dual roam at level 1 or anything LGD style, but I'm thinking more like around that 5 to 6 minute mark. Maybe we see our first smoke gank or our first pressure on a lane, and they will go anti-mage in the end. So they take a little bit more late game insurance than say the Dragon Knight, a hero who's more reliable at flash farming. What do you think, Lumi? What do you think?
Well, this Anti-Mage, like I point out, there's a couple of weapons coming in from Valsport. The Queen of Pain Quick Orchid, the Infest initiation, the Blink initiation from Rubik, stolen by Anti-Mage, and then of course, you got the Telekinesis as well. So there's a lot of ways to actually deal against it, but they still go into it anyways. And I think that's really just trusting the fact that, hey, there's going to be the Chen backup, there's going to be Nature's Prophet teleporting in, and there's going to be a quick Blink Dagger most likely coming from S4. And Mousesport's going to finish their draft here with Line, which is a hero that I think Fluff and Stuff has really kind of recently repopularized with his constant exposure of that hero, and he's a very, very powerful hero.
Oh,
again,
yeah.
Giving another initiation against Anti-Mage, and you generally want as much initiation as you possibly can against that hero.
I think it's, like you said, necessary lockdown for this Anti-Mage. They had the Rubik lift, they need some follow-up. You can't count an Orchid when likely that Anti-Mage with all the strong laning heroes they have will get pretty much close to free farm. If not free farm, then as close to it as you get. So Mouse, they've got a lot of semi-carries, a lot of mid to late game heroes that scale well, so they're going to play to the strengths of that and pick up a support who scales really well, and I think that's a solid choice from them overall. One other storyline coming into this match, which we actually didn't talk about, is Fata is back. Fata has had a wrist injury or a hand injury, been out of commission for quite some time. We've seen Mousesports using a variety of stand-ins, but they have their full 5-man roster back, aka Broken Hand Gaming. You can even see it in his name. I'm not sure if his hand is fully reconstituted or if he's just, you know, like classic sort of like NFL football style, just like taking some shots of Novocaine to the hand or the wrist and suiting back up and coming back in. You know, suiting back up, like sitting down in his computer chair. Yes, but we'll have to see if the Novocaine is there, if the painkillers were needed, or if he's back to full form. But when Fata's on his game, one of the stronger solo mids, and I think to his credit, to his advantage, he'll have a better matchup mid lane. Against a hero like Magnus, Queen of Pain, we've seen it many times before, should dominate the matchup.
I mean, he better to get his painkillers ready. It's going to be a best-of-3 series against S4, who, in my opinion, the best solo mid in Europe right now. Over Scando, which haven't played solo mid for a long time. Over Dendi. Yes, I went there.
Sacrilege. And I say that because, did you watch EMS? Dendi played like an absolute champ. Before that,
I did watch EMS.
Okay.
But I also watched, you know, the DTL final. I also watched Star Ladder final. I mean,
DreamHack
guy-
Invitational, yeah, it's fair, but until S4 wins the International, I got to give Denny the benefit of the doubt. But yeah, the point is S4 is a premier solo mid, and they need Fata in this game, and they need him at his best to deal with what's coming their way.
Yeah, I mean, he does have the matchup advantage, but it's not kind of like 80-20 kind of matchup. It's, I want to say like 60-40, maybe even 55-45.
I think it's closer to that, like 65-35 range, 60-40 maybe. It's a matchup Queen of Page should win the lane, but killing the mag is going to be a little bit tougher, especially when there's a Prophet and maybe the threat of that Chen coming in as well.
So I don't think we kind of talked about the laning stage here. Is it going to be offensive trialing with Mouz Black sitting very safe on that?
Well, it's a support Lion, right? So I think we might even be looking at just an off-lane lifestealer. You know, get some levels, get some experience out of that lane. Windrunner could definitely harass you a lot. If they want to go aggressive, it's just kind of a weak tri-lane. And if they go aggressive, something Alliance is very comfortable with is not having Ake just jungling, but actually rotate a creep to the lane and apply some pressure. So if Mouse do decide to go aggressive, I think it's so the Alliance not only prepared for with their lineup, but also prepared for with their play style. So if I'm Mouse, I don't really want to go aggressive tri-lane versus Alliance. They're too comfortable at dealing with it when they have the Chen and the Prophet.
Ooh, in fact, they're going to abandon the long lane altogether here as we see KOJ, Lifestealer, is going to just straight up jungle, which is something that is somewhat dangerous to do against a Chen, but on paper, it's like, oh my god, you're abandoning a lane against an anti-mage freeform as well as a Chen that could easily push down your tower. But as soon as the Alliance look towards a push, we're going to see a couple of quick rotation here onto the bot lane to get a little bit of EXP. But, you know, something non-standard, I want to say.
I mean, Lifestealer actually jungles reasonably quickly. He's not the fastest jungler. He's not an Enigma, Darkseer, Batrider, but does jungle pretty fast. Koikfa's actually going to drop his Quelling Blade because he doesn't want them to know that he's jungling. So he'll head towards the bottom lane like he's looking to lane there, but with only one set of tangos and a stout shield, Alliance may be onto this. So the Quelling Blade dropped, a nice little tactic for him. Not sure if this will actually fool Alliance considering the lack of other items, but just one of those cute little strategic things you'll see. So anyway, with all that being said, Luby, I think it's time to introduce the teams. On the side of Mouse Sports, we have a team that 2-0'd Na'Vi in the WePlay.tv Dota 2 League. It's Pos going to be handling the Rubik. Black going to be handling the Gyrocopter. Arguably the best carry in Europe, certainly up there. Alex going to be playing that Lion, heading towards the top rune, checking that. Fata, back in action. Going solo mid, has been pulled. Quite a bit of regen from his supports. Koikfa now picks up his Quelling Blade, heads towards bottom. Let's see if Alliance is going to take the bait. And that pretty much covers the team. Yeah, that's all five. That's all five.
Meanwhile, on the Radiant side, the son of Magnus, Captain Solo Mid, best Euro solo mid, in my opinion, is going to be on the Magnus. He's going to have a tough assignment going against a pulled Queen of Pain on the other side. Meanwhile, here we do see Amber Bulldog starting in the jungle, not starting here with the standard Ring of Basilius and the pull Clarity. He's going to have the Glove of Haste instead. Back on the bot lane here, we're going to see Aki in the jungle with Chen, EGM's support winner, and last but not least, Loda playing that free farm anti-mage. Look towards him to actually pick up a Quelling Blink immediately and basically look to get a perfect CS in this completely unmolested lane.
So basically right now, Alliance, they've abandoned the offlane as well. So both teams are trading in Lifestealer versus Prophet. I mean, if anything, it's a pretty even race in terms of who farms faster. Maybe even get the edge slightly to the Lifestealer. It also is very creep dependent. He gets the Dark Troll Warlord camp at level 1, which is, I think, if not the best big camp, they're one of the best because they're all ranged creeps. So your Stout Shield allows you to take it at level 1 with ease. You can see, barely even lost HP. If that's something like an Ursa camp, you can't do it right away. He'll now have to deal with the Centaurs, which are definitely tougher, but something you can still look to do early. And so Koikfa getting some good early spawns, able to have a fast start. You compare that to Bulldog, just hits level 2 now, and I mean, it's a Prophet in the jungle. He's guaranteed to get some farm, but for a Lifestealer, it can be tough early on, and especially because, well, he won't be able to pull the other camps. That's something Pos is using, so he needed some good spawns early. He gets them, and now he's off to a good start.
Yeah, I feel like this game is mostly going to come down to a solo mid. Who farms faster, who's going to deny better farm. And right now, S4 is slightly winning the farm race against a pulled Queen of Pain. So, I don't know, man. It's not looking accurate, but right now we do see Fata starting to lay on the harass. Once Queen of Pain hits, like, oh, she doesn't actually put the second point into Shadow Strike, which is somewhat comes down to personal preference, but I feel like this is a matchup you might want to do. Get the second point of Shadow Strike and just lay the harassment non-stop against S4.
Yeah, you can maybe harass him more. At the same time, though, your mid-game punch comes a level later, and are you really going to kill S4? You always have to be worried about the Chen coming in. If you actually dive the tower, then maybe that's where Bulldog shows up. Speaking of Bulldog, has rotated towards this top lane. He's going to be dragging the creeps all the way around, trying to get a bit of a stack wave going. And now he'll pull them back into the tower as his creep wave arrives. Nope, not there yet. So all sorts of creep pulling shenanigans now, as now it's going to be Bulldog or Black's turn to pull the creep wave away. Right around the Rosie right now, and slowly but surely he'll try to manipulate them around towards the tower. There will be a big push coming regardless, so he'll get some levels out of this, but you compare that to our Lifestealer, level 3, another Dark Troll Warlord camp spawns, and once you get to level 3 to 4, doesn't really matter what the spawns are as much, but already boots up. This is a very fast jungle Lifestealer start for Qualifier, and I think Mouz are getting great trades overall. But the trade-off, the change to that could come now, because Ake sees nobody's bottom, he's going to start pushing.
I'm not sure you can see the rotation coming immediately from Lifestealer. He sees the push coming, he's getting there. Unfortunately, because he's jungly, he doesn't have that early point to rage, and if he gets shackled up, he's done. So he's got to be very, very careful about his positioning. Did hit level 4 right there, and there's the teleportation support coming there as well. And this is exactly where I alluded to as the draft stage ended. I mean, it's a free lane. You could push against it, but you're not really going to get any push off because European teams are so good right now to see the push time coming and immediately get a ton of experience under tower. He's going to hit level 5 very, very soon, and compared that to Bulldog, well, he's doing okay on himself, but he's only level 3.
Let's not mince words. It's a huge difference right now. Bulldog just hitting level 3 as a Prophet, who, if anything, is the hero that has a slightly more reliable start if he goes into the jungle. Qualifier getting this early level 5. I wouldn't call it a disaster or anything, but it's definitely not a trade-off that Alliance was looking for. And it's like you said, they tried to punish that jungle lifesteal by pushing the lane. Unfortunately, Mouz was prepared with the teleport early on Pos, as well as the early levels on Qualifier, and as a result, they don't get a whole lot. Good news is S4 is being harassed, is slightly behind mid, but I mean, it's basically nothing when you consider the matchup. So Lumi, I think we could fairly say it's a pretty even laning stage overall. 100 gold lead for the Dire. 1,000, actually no, sorry, not so even in terms of experience because of that off lane, but overall, I'd still say fairly even trades. Prophet's a hero who will catch up. I'm looking more towards the mid game with this. And how do you think the game's developing overall? Anti-Mage getting free farm, Gyro getting free farm. How do you think these teams are going to stack up as we get towards that 10-minute mark?
I think once Lifestealer hits level 6, do look towards him joining up with the Queen of Pain, and basically that's going to be your gang train, the 2-man gang train, and that's going to pick up just about anybody over even a Hand of God. Maybe Anti-Mage is going to survive, but for the most part, whoever gets jumped on by the Queen of Pain and the Infest Bomb, maybe that's why that Fata did not even level the Strato Strike. Like you said, the mid-game nuking power, you don't want to deny that any further. So that's going to be my guess here for Mouzeboard, and they could completely dominate anybody, and I think they should focus on S4, delay his Arcane, delay that Blink, and make sure that he's not going to be the big X factor during mid-game.
Oh, speaking of S4, he has RP. He just leveled it up. Maybe was thinking about a go on Fata, but did not have the mana for it. And it would have been a tough kill anyway. There wasn't any backup, so maybe just bullying him a bit. And, well, for Alliance, Ake, level 4 right now, continues to jungle, continues to try to get what he can. But you compare that to the Lion, who's just been pulling freely top, and Alex is getting plenty. Our Rubik doing quite well as well. For Mousesports, very level-dependent supports. Not the strongest laning combo, that pair, and not really being punished. So you mentioned the burst damage. I'm going to keep an eye on the supports right now for Mouz. I feel like these are two of the highest impact supports in the game, a Rubik, a Lion, around that 10-minute mark. And generally we don't see that combo because they don't offer you any kind of damage and minimal presence in the laning stage. But when it's not being punished, I think it could go a long way. And you look at this Chen, only Arena Basilius for Ake. That early pressure on the lane has slowed him down.
Yeah, I'm guessing he's looking towards a quick mech, and maybe looks. Here comes EGM with a quick rotation. They want to kill on Pass, but Pass moving away from those tree lines. If they really need a kill, they need Amber Bulldog to come in. But at this point, he's just a sprout. He's a couple of right clicks, and he's not going to give you too much. S4 is going to come back here, and bottle curling very, very far away from his base. Maybe expecting some courier snipes of some sort, but no, he's going to play it safe, and Queen of Pain does have that level 6 and going to be looking towards it level 7. Meanwhile, Lifestealer halfway there to his level 6 himself. So the mid game is going to explode out of control very, very quickly. One
little factor that I think is worth mentioning is Loda's actually leveled up Mana Break this game. Generally, if you just want to play kind of that, what on paper their lineup looks well built to do, sort of that split push mid game, look to outfarm them, out map control them, get the early towers with Chen, the mid game towers with the Prophet as well, and then kind of just out starve them to death. For Loda right now, taking these early points of mana burn, an easier kill. Not extra points in stats, or the shield for that matter. Not extra points in Blake. It's also going to slow down his farm rate just a touch. It's a small thing, by no means game-breaking, but those little advantages can accumulate. And, well, I'm looking at one carry, want to look at the other right now. For Black, maxing Flat Cannon, so going for the most farm-oriented build possible. I won't be surprised if he goes for something like a Helm of the Dominator, because you've got, like you mentioned, the Lifestealer and the Queen of Pain to apply the mid-game pressure. Maybe this is where you look to get greedy with your Gyro. And as I say that, I think Potts may be preparing to stack some Ancients at the 8-minute mark.
Yeah, and second, those ancients. I guess you could always ask your support to stack, so you don't really want to get the helm if you don't need to. He does have power tread up. I'm expecting the standard Shadow Blade build. Gonna give him more mobility, gonna give him a ton more damage in that team fight. And here comes a little bit of pressure up top, and of course with Flat Cannon, that next creep wave is gonna be completely dead. I don't think Bulldog can even come in to get EXP. He's gonna try, but he's gonna be very, very careful against Alex, because well, Impale's gonna blow down all these creep wave. Are they even gonna draw the call down? No, not yet. But that tier 1 tower on top lane, I think it's dead.
Well, S4's coming, so they better back off or they're going to be in a lot of trouble themselves. The rotation is here. Black going to be backing off. Meanwhile, middle lane, just a regen room pop by Queen of Pain. So S4 lumbers into the bottom lane, and, well, he's been spotted now, so not going to be seeking up anyone. Just wants to hold on to that tower for the time being, but now we'll see a rotation from Fata. Mouz, they've got cooldown. They've got the Queen of Pain level 4 Scream and the ultimate. This is the time where Fata can just blow a hero like Admiral Bulldog up. The tower will be denied. I don't think he'll go in, though. So in the end, a little bit of a wasted opportunity there. Or not wasted, but a little bit of time spent not accomplishing a whole lot. Ake, going to be sitting here bottom lane. Invis Pass has not been seen. It's after the 8-minute mark. Jackal will latch on Quakeful, but Pass is here. Could be the turnaround. Throws Loda back, stuns everything, including both Troll Warlords. Doesn't matter. A blink in. Jams it in. Loda gets the first blood with the Mana Void. That telekinesis stunned 3 heroes as well as 2 Dark Troll Warlords, and they still get the first blood.
Well, they got the first blood because he leveled up Mana Break. I mean, you talked about how it's going to be a little bit weaker defensively, but offensively, taking away the mana for Rage from Lifestealer is what made the difference there. He just tried to lumber away, but no Rage should block the Mana Break or Mana Void, and that's the kill.
Yeah,
so
it's a build that if there's nobody in the lane, which is initially what it looked like that was going to be the case, then doesn't offer you much, but if someone's there, then yeah, absolutely worth it. Finds the kill. So Loda going for a more aggressive build, and it pays off. And with that first blood, taking another look at the gold graph, as we haven't had much action, so these numbers can be useful early on. About 1,000 gold lead right now for the Radiant, 1250 experience lead. So they have started to bounce back a lot. And you know, part of the reason is Quakeful rotated bottom, had that early level 4, level 5. Then they parked 2-3 heroes in the lane. Didn't really do a whole lot off of that. Quakefoot wasn't really farming during that time. Only 27 CS for him. You gotta wonder, maybe it would have been better to just leave a support there. I guess they were worried about him dying, but they invested a lot to keep that tower up. Whereas for Alliance, didn't spend as much. They were focused on farming, and now with that first blood, they pull ahead.
yeah, they pull ahead despite a tier 1 tower deny up top. So I agree. If you look at Admiral Bulldog, he's leading in terms of EXP compared to a Lifestealer. And that's, you know, like you said, the Sagras EXP deficit early on. He is level 6 at Lifestealer, but haven't joined up with the Queen of Pain just yet. But look at the Observer Wall on the mid lane. They will see him rotating. He does have that smoke of the seat here on the Lifestealer, though. So do look towards him to actually start making it go somewhere on the map.
Yeah, FaZe boots up as well, so very mobile. We'll see a teleport in towards the middle lane. It's going to be Admiral Bulldog. They've caught up Potts with an Observer Ward of their own. They'll look to bring him down now. He will go down. The Finger of Death, the Queen of Pain ult as well, looking to turn this fight around. Ake hasn't even used his heal, and they haven't found a kill yet, aside from Admiral Bulldog's Prophet. So they blow 2 ults. They do get the kill in the end, and they trade a Rubik. Not a horrible trade by any means for either team. In fact, pretty even, all things considered. Bulldog explodes, but during that time, both carries free farming.
Yeah, Bulldog exploded after he got his Midas, so it's not exactly the worst trade ever.
And it's on cooldown as well.
Yeah, it's on cooldown, so... But I guess maybe it's even a little bit better here for Alliance, because they blew both Sonic Wave and level 1 Finger of Death, and those ultimates have very, very long cooldown, so... They're going to be safe for the next minute and a half, or maybe even 2 minutes.
Quakeful wants to defend this bottom tower, but Loda's dishing out a lot of damage to it. It's going to drop quickly. If he gets this tower, his Battle Fury will be coming quite soon, and it looks like it won't be denied. Nobody in sight, actually. In fact, tower goes to the Radiant, so Loda not finding the last hit there, but still on a fast Battle Fury timing at that. Has money for the Claymore. Nothing on... Oh, well, actually, sorry, already has the Claymore. So that's your Broadsword. And meanwhile, mid lane, S4 finds a solo kill on Fata. No teleport even needed. An RP, a Skewer, a Shockwave. Down Fata goes. S4, I mean, he's been doing it for a while now, hasn't he, Lumi? Doesn't matter what the matchup is, he seems to always find a way.
Yeah, I mean, he always, at worst, comes out even, and almost all the time just wins the lane matchup all the time. So that's why I think that he's just such a good solo mid. But all these small things, the tower deny up top, the Mana Break being scaled up to get anti-mage first blood, the solo kill up mid. Suddenly, the goal lead is about 3,000, and... Again, this is no surprise here. Alliance always win the early game, having really, really good lane, smart plays, and S4 very close to his Blink Dagger. And I think the lead's gonna stretch a little bit more. You gotta look towards the Queen of Pain, the Line, and Lifestealer to get this mid game under control because they're losing it right now.
And there's your Battle Fury. So now the farm's going to accelerate a lot. And sure, he doesn't have extra points of Blink. It'll be slightly slower, but you compare that to a Gyrocopter, and it's still going to be faster than what Black's able to farm. The Ancients never were stacked in the end, so Black not getting that additional gold. And let's see what he goes for, sitting on about 2k gold. Anything on the Courier for him? No, goes for the Helm of the Dominator. So is going to try and start stacking Ancients, but it's going to be so late at this point.
I don't know. I don't know about this one.
I don't know if he realizes that Loda already has his Battle Fury, but when he got First Blood, they got the tower bottom. You got to figure it's coming soon. It's sort of standard Black, right? He prefers to farm his way to victory in most games. I don't think, given the same situation, it's the right call, though.
I think Black generally is very, very smart with his item choices. Sometimes you see his anti-mage go Vlad's first if his team needs a little bit of extra pushing power. But I feel like when you suggest a Helm of Dominator about 5 minutes ago, I thought that was a great build if he wants to go for something cheesy. Not right now where they're really down behind. I think they have about a minute to gank this anti-mage because if he doesn't have his treads yet, his farm is not going to be that quick. They're going to try to set up a gank on the mid, but there's Invisor and Magnus.
Oh,
He's
no.
going to be absolutely fine. Sentry Ward, though, is going to get dropped.
It does. 3 heroes smoked and Fata City mid, so it's only Black really getting much out of the laning stage, or not the laning stage, but out of that little maneuver. Meanwhile, look at what Eggem's doing. Eggem, or I always call him Eggem, but EGM, getting that safe lane farm, already 1,000 gold up, and his arcane boots, Loda, treads. I thought they were complete. Maybe not.
Not yet. Yeah, he really needs to tread so he get his farm out of control. And he's not being pressured, so he is going to have the time for the treads. Meanwhile, though, Mouse Black at least is doing something on his own. He's farming decently, 106 creep kills, which is, pretty respectable. But we're going to see the anti-mage start to really pull out of control in just about a minute or so.
Yeah, and the other thing, mid lane, looks like missed a kill there. Not sure if you caught it, but down he'll go again, and it's the RP. The Blake Dagger just picked up from S4, so that's how we saw the kill. Must have came from the trees. I think Ake may have even used his smoke. No, he's still sitting on it, so looks like the Blake Dagger, S4, he finds that blink and scores again, strikes another kill on Fata. We just have not seen any sort of snowball for Fata. Had some early pressure mid in the laning stage. Hasn't found much since then. And for Mouse, it does feel like there's some wasted opportunity with this lineup. You mentioned the Infest Bombs. They have a Lion at that level 1 Finger of Death, so powerful for finding a kill on someone like Anti-Mage even. Sure, he's got Spell Shield. He's still squishy. He was sitting on like 650, 700 health in the laning stage with that max mana break first. They didn't find the kills. They haven't found them since then. And
well, mid lane, they're looking for one right now. Aki's just going to get blown up even after Hand of God. Look, kill those creeps, man. But he's going to get at least one. Pass in big trouble. He's out of mana at this point. The tower's focusing on him, but here comes the cavalry on the Mouse Sports side. They're going to focus on S4 now. Sonic Wave's going to come through, but it's so damn tanky. Oh, Blink Dagger being cancelled by that poison, but he's bottling up. He's regen rune.
Oh my god, this is such a...
Here comes the anti-mage. Where's the mana for? Huge mana being dumped up here against Queen of Pain. She's shuking. The tree being broken. That's going to be a kill, but I think that Lifestealer is dead.
Oh, now Koikva's going to go down as well. The Lifestealer will fall. The Queen of Pain will fall. And while that was happening, Pos also got picked off on the back lines. It's a 3-for-1. And the RP was on cooldown too, so sure, he dies, but it's not like there was anything huge that he was going to be looking to do with that. And worst of all, you're giving gold and experience to that anti-mage. Treads up, Battle Fury up. Good news for Mouse is Black, he's been stacking the... Oh, actually, he hasn't been stacking the agents. They've been Sentry Warded, so it doesn't even have those to fall back on. Nobody's had a chance to go deward these. This is big trouble. Looking at the net worth of these two, it's a 1.3k gold lead right now for the anti-mage, and it's about to get a lot bigger.
This is why I don't like Helm of Dominator in these high-level games. Teams are going to smart up. Like, Alliance says, all right, well, Sentry, and there goes your 2,000 early game gold investment. Meanwhile, of course, Chen, or Nature's Prophet, even using his own treants and Chen creeps to scout there and patrol. And Anti-Mage suddenly is going to come in with his big Ancient stack, and this deficit is going to continue to grow even more so. Right now, it's looking to be, what, 4,000 gold? It's going to be 5,000-6,000 very, very soon.
It's just a more efficient play overall from Alliance, and adding to that, they've been stacking their Ancients. We'll see this clean up now. Loda going to get close to... probably will have a Yasha off of this, if not even an Ultimate Orb. We'll see what he wants to go for. Either could be perfectly viable, and into that Manta style at this point, I imagine. Maybe we see the Vlads, but I think it's a game where your anti-mage, if he gets a Manta now, what is Mouse really going to do against that? There's no Orchid in sight, there's no Sight Device, there is no lockdown whatsoever to deal with him, so if he gets a combat item, could be bad. The tower will be denied mid. Black joining the fight. Eggem looks like he'll go down. The Rocket Barrage bringing him down. Now Alex going to run up the hill straight into S4 potentially. Actually dispels the smoke. S4 just waiting, biding his time. Maybe they don't even go here because there are...
I think they go, man. They have perfect position. They don't know S4 is right there, and a 3 or 4 man RP is going to spell doom. Right now, S4 is waiting
They need the follow-up. That's the problem, is where's the follow-up right now? No shackle shot, no power shot. It's a Prophet ultimate and a half HP anti-mage. Lotus gonna heal. I think if he heals and they're still trying to pressure mid, then maybe they go in.
Well, they're waiting. They're not exactly bringing down this at top speed. There's a teleportation. That's going to come from the Windrunner. Maybe Windrunner is going to be the bait. Power Shot's going to slow down this push. Where the hell's S4 still being so patient? They're oh my god, this is going to be big. RP, that's going to be on 2. Lion's going to be dead. Meaning focus on Black, please. He's not going to be dead just yet. Right click coming in. He's still alive. He's still alive. Flag cannon doing so much damage.
Not enough.
It's going to come and
it's
clean
just
up
not
here.
enough. Admiral Bulldog does go down, but they don't kill the anti-mage, and now looking to push. It's a big creep army for Mouz. They may even have to look at to use something like a Sonic Wave if they want to stop this, and I don't think they will, so potentially this tower in jeopardy here. That next creep wave coming, Shackle Shot not going to latch. Something stolen right now by a Rubik, and it's actually Blink, so nothing too big, but Loda thrown up in the air, blown up and brought down. Meanwhile, on the backside, it's going to be Ake who falls as well. A beautiful Queen of Paid ult from Fata doing a crap load of damage, and for Loda, not having those points and stats maybe cost him now. We might even see, in fact it is it the whole Chen army, the entire Chen army down, as well as the anti-mage and the Chen. They don't get the tier 2 on top of it, and with no RP, maybe they overstayed their welcome.
Yeah, I think this is the time you go into the Roshan pit and make something happen. You know RP's down. Chen is going to at least waste a 1.5 minutes to refill his army, and that's a big opportunity for them to do something at this point. But I think they're looking to get a little bit more farm. Yeah, Black's going to teleport up top to continue rising away. Is this going to be one of those ultra late game build where you just go straight up Butterfly, straight up BKB, maybe even look towards you get up your Satanic a little bit later on, and then says, all right, I'm going to outcarry you with Divine Vapor eventually? Or do you go back for something like Shadow Blade and says, we're going to control the mid game? I think against an anti-mage that's this farm, you try to go late.
I feel if it goes late enough, Mouz may be the team that has the advantage. In fact, I'd lean towards saying they are. Sure, there's a Magnus and an anti-mage and a Prophet, 3 strong late game heroes on the side of Alliance, but Mouz have the 2 strongest supports in this game. If it goes late enough, Chen, Hand of God, Sendback are nice. That's not a Hex. That's not an Impale. And that's not something like a Rubik lift, or particularly Rubik maybe being able to steal RP. So I think for Mouse Sports, finding just a small engagement here or there like that is exactly what the Doctor ordered, and now can start to stack those Ancients. We see it is underway, and all of a sudden, Black, on quite a decent amount of gold, is sending out an Ogre Club. So he'll go BKB. There's not that much magic damage, but I feel like this is more just to do with, say, something like a Shackle Shot. So you can join the fights, be active, and not worry about instantly getting brought down if you get stunned.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at how the previous team fight went, the 2-man RP was on the line as well as Gyrocopter. They killed the line immediately. Remember how I said they got to focus on Black, kill him quick? It took him a while to brought down because just after the RP, they don't have much damage left. So, for example, if he had BKB there, he would survive that team fight and probably turn it around. So, I think it's a very smart item pickup. It's not going to be that ultra late game item, but it's an item that his team needs right now, and that's going to help him go late if that's what he wants to do. And after that big Ancient stack, well, he will have it very, very soon. Just about 800 go away.
Loda really could have been accelerating ahead of Black after, what we saw earlier where Black ended up dying. It was involved in the fights and, just wasn't farming as much as what he could be. But now with Loda dying mid as well, Black catches up. And Black only behind by 1,000 gold. That's really not enough when you consider the backup that he'll have later on. So, bottom lane, RP on 2 by S4. The follow-up isn't there. He'll go down. Now Bulldog comes in. Can he clean up 2? He will, but it's everybody diving in really far to get those kills. Queen of Paid ult goes out the other way. It looks like Ake will fall. It's going to be most likely a 3 for 2. The Chen creep is taken over. Pos wants his own army. He steals 1. Can he get more? Fatsa says, no, I'd rather have the gold, buddy. And when it's all said and done, they used an RP. They got a support. And they did get Black's carry, but they gave up a lot for that. They gave up a hell of a lot.
But as return, I mean, Loda got a tower kill up top as really Leicester can't get too much of done. I gotta say, man, Pos just blew my mind with that play. He stole conversion, and then stole Chen's creep, and then used Shockwave from Chen's original army to get a kill on Aki. I thought that was a beautiful play, and, well, something that will go on maybe on a highlight reel. But right now, Loda is leading in terms of farm.
I hate to be the Debbie Downer, but I feel they had that kill anyway. Still pretty freaking awesome. I mean,
yeah, I mean, it's just nice play,
that's more showing off than anything. That's like, look at me. I can go behind my head, around my back, under my legs. Doesn't even matter. Or I could just, lay it in. But hey, the points were the points the other day. They get the kill. And for Alliance now, kind of, I feel forced to play more defensively. They're very reliant on the RP to take fights. The only way that changes is if Loda gets absolutely huge, or they have something like an Aegis, or they pick up Slice of Ice, and, well, they're not going to have those for a while because Bulldog, he's gone I mean, they're transitioning back into that style we sort of expected from them when you have the Prophet Anti-Mage, which is maximum split push, maximum late game. But with these fights going the way of Mouz, I think it's something Mouz are going to be much more prepared to deal with than they would have been had Alliance been just a little more disciplined earlier on.
Yep. Also, again, this Ancient Camp keep getting warded up. I mean, you talk about how the Dire has better late game support. Right now, I feel like Alliance have the smarter support. They're just always on top of the smoke ganks. They're always on top of the counter ganks. And right now, just slowing down Black's farm is all you really want, and hope that your Loda could carry you at the end of the day. And so far, he's, you know, farming all over the map, farming and the enemy jungle as well. And that's going to slow down the enemy farm by taking away the creep. So very, very smart play coming in from Alliance. And to me, that's why they're winning all these tournaments lately. They're just a very, very smart team with the S4 leading the way on captainship.
It's really one of those games, Lumi, where you can look at the gold graph and say Alliance is up by 5,000 gold. They're up by 5,000 experience. They've probably been overall making the somewhat better decisions and having, like you said, the smarter plays, especially for their supports. But still a game that Mouz very much in. They've had some great fights of their own. And I feel where we've seen Alliance get into real trouble is when they try and force fights, when they try and force the issue too much. Oh, bottom lane, we're going to see an initiate with open wound. But what I was going to mention earlier is there's no detection. It will be here now. Alex has a sentry ward, but there was none on the Rubik when Pos was there and unable to find that kill. 5 grouped up bottom, they'll look to push. And for Alliance, despite having RP, they say better to trade. They'll TP top with Bulldog, they'll look for a tier 2, and they're only giving up a tier 1 at that, so if they can get this trade, it would be great. I don't know if they'll fully give it, but Mouz are going to have to back if they don't want to lose that tier 2.
It's just so small thing. If they had Dust right there, they got to kill an Emerald Bulldog, and that top tower is going to be absolutely safe. They even waste a Glyph, and probably going to have to, well, half HP is already done, so...
This is a scary time for Loda. There's a Scythe of Ice almost complete on Fata, and despite not having the quickest start, he's almost got one now. There's actually an infested Alex. Well, he doesn't have a Blink Dagger. No, gonna pop back out.
That's a Trojan Horse. You don't expect that.
I was about to say, maybe that was a misclick. Maybe Alex wanted to actually get inside of Fata, but this Lifestealer sleeping around a little bit today.
Yeah, definitely is. Queen of Pain's gonna have his Scythe in about 1 or 2 creep waves, so the ganking will really start. Generally, I'm not a big... I'm never really in big favor of a straight Hex Rush on Queen of Pain, but when you finish it in about 25 minutes, it's not that bad considering the way that they've been down by 3,000-4,000 gold the entire way, so it's pretty good, and that mid game is going to be so scary here for the Anti-Mage.
They really need it for the Anti-Mage, and if they can Hex him and say they have double Hex with that. They'll have the Lion 4-second Hex, the longest single target Hex in the game, and you chain those two together, Anti-Mage is almost certainly going to die. I mean, especially because you've got Black on his Gyro, and even Quake on the Lifesteal going for that phase drums build, an armlet build, where they have plenty of physical damage to deal with Loda. Loda will need a Butterfly, and then possibly at least a Vitality Booster, or a Heart, and then maybe the Talisman, I think, to fight, to deal with that Hex. And I mean, even then, there's always... Oh,
S4.
We're going to initiate here, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, he has a Scythe of Ice, so Fowler's going to have his fingers immediately ready.
Quake was low. He does have an armlet. Could be looking to bait this one a little bit. Eggum, got to surge in. Looking, but there's a Rage. A well-timed Rage at that. Turns on his armlet. Now going to pop it back off. Meanwhile, Bulldog trying to force the back, pushing that top lane. And it is sort of the hero compositional advantage that Alliance has, is they can apply that pressure and also have the +1 at any time. Whereas for Mouz, not something they can do.
Yeah, I mean, right now, all really Alliance is looking to do is delay this Roshan and make sure that Bulldog's starting to pressure a little bit more and basically get in the head of Mouz. If you really want this Aegis, you're going to have to pay a ton, but look at the smart rotation coming from Fata. He's going to see Bulldog, where's the Scythe? There's the Scythe, there's Infest Bomb coming out here, and Bulldog's going to be dead, and they can now look back towards to take the Aegis. Sure, they're down Scythe for a couple of seconds, and they're down Sonic Wave, but I don't think Alliance can challenge this unless Bulldog has buyback, and guess what?
That hurts, because Loda just found a double damage rune. I mean, if you have your Prophet up and you see them rotate top, you might even be able to sneak that Roshan, especially with Empower there. They may even try to go for it now in spite of that.
They're going to allow Mouseboard to go for it and then challenge it themselves because they have buyback on Bulldog. Or maybe not. They should back off, I think. I don't think they could kind of frontal this. Oh, S4.
If they have to blow a buyback on Bulldog, he's their only person near a Scythe device, and Black with a BKB, now a Demon Edge, Quakefoot, the Lifestealer with Rage. You need that Scythe device as this game goes longer. Sure, you've got RP, you got to catch both, and it's not going to be easy to do that when Flat Cannon has 1,000 range, and Lifestealer could easily be infested in someone like the Queen of Pain, so I don't think they can afford for Bulldog to buy back, but in the end, not going to end up being an issue as Mouz, they back off too.
Yeah, Mouz backing off, seeing the double damage on Anti-Mage, not going to really take that fight. Still very, very dangerous despite 5v4. Bulldog going to look towards teleport top and start farming away. And still, both teams kind of positional around the Radiant side. Everybody talks about the dire Roshan advantage. For Anti-Mage, he doesn't care because he has the entire jungle behind him. He can easily blink back and forth and get a ton of creep kill in his own jungle, but still staying very, very near to the Roshan. No sneaking Roche for any teams.
Loda's gone for a BKB, an essential item this game. I mean, sure, he maybe gets Hex before he pops it, but without it, he's not going to live through these fights. Even with Manta Style, too many Hexes, too much lockdown. Something Loda had to go for, and I imagine now we're going to see that Butterfly next, and he'll need the Butterfly as well, I feel. So if he gets that Butterfly up, that's going to be the window where the BKB is at high duration, you have the Butterfly complete, maybe it's an 8-second BKB remaining if they win a couple of fights. That's where Alliance are going to want to strike and get some big structural damage, the tier 2s down, possibly expose the racks, or even bring them down. For Mouse Sports, I think they're actually the team that goes a bit later in this one. Now, it's not a game that will be fully decided by the lineups and the game duration, but I feel if it's a relatively equally played game from here on out, eventually it will start to tip towards Mouse.
Yeah, you talk about Butterfly. Black is already having that Demon Edge, so he can. Oh, looks like smoke. The entire team is smoked up here, and they want AM. Where's the lift? They see S4, and you gotta blow him down. There's a BKB from Loda. A ton of AoE damage being dropped on S4, but S4 survives. And meanwhile, he does drop his ultimate. Meanwhile, though, anti-mage seeing so much work. Here comes Black. BKB's up. He's gonna try to focus on Chen. Chen being running away. He's gonna be fine, but BKB's running out. Black's gonna die, and a huge team wipe in the favor of Alliance. Nobody did on their team, and everybody did on Mouseport.
They had to kill S4, right? You have to blow him up before it RPs. The problem is, they didn't have any hexes left for Loda, and by that point, Loda, he gets off his BKB. Mousesport's no answer for that. A team wipe going in the way of the Alliance, and on the back of that Lumi, they'll certainly get Roche, or maybe they just go Rax.
Yeah, you go Rax now. I think Roche, you could get it a little bit later on. You have a ton of time here. Lion's gonna be back, but you have about 30 seconds before Gyrocopter comes back. No, they don't go
Slightly indecisive. They'll now rotate back towards the Roche pit. I think with Empower and Loda, they'll still get this in time, but yeah, Mouse not gonna be able to get here. So in the end, Roche is gonna go the way of Loda, and now Aegis is up. Like I was sort of saying, if they win a fight or two, the Butterfly will be up next, and that's really where you look to try and finish the game, and he's got his Eagle Horn now.
Cypher Vice is
Eagle
also
Song.
up here. Yes.
Or no, he's not going to buy it yet, so decides to pick up the Quelling Blade instead.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like he has a ton of options. If he wants to feel a little bit safer, he can even get a heart, but you have BKB. I don't think that's a necessity. But to me, like you said, the Cypher Fight is going to be the important item pickup, because suddenly that Queen of Pain is not going to be as scary. The Lifesteal is not going to be as scary. And once that BKB charge gets lower on Gyrocopter, well, he's going to get Cyphed up as well. Black needs to finish his own big item, the MKB, right now, because the next team fight is going to be coming quick, and he really needs an item to stay on par with Loda.
It's like you said, it's all those little things that Alliance have been doing right this game, adding up, constantly rewarding the Ancients, the pressure onto Black, forcing him to join the fights. Even when they didn't really accomplish a whole lot bottom by pushing the tower, they slowed down Koikfa's lifesteal, they forced supports to be in the lane, and then they made up for it with Bulldog getting more off of his lane, with the Rubik no longer being there to keep Bulldog off of the lane. So it's all those little decisions, and then things like Bulldog pushing the top lane. Sure, he dies that one time, but they use the profit to their advantage. They maximize the effectiveness of their lineup to accrue these small incremental advantages, and now what were once incremental advantages have become massive advantages. A 14,000 gold lead for the Alliance, a 16,000, maybe even closer to a 20,000 experience lead for them, and experience starts to matter a bit less now, but I'm looking at the levels of some of these supports. We have a Chen getting close to level 16, a Windrunner with all of her spells maxed. That's pretty crucial, and now Ake 4-staff up. The items are there on the supports as well. A friggin' Orchid on EGM. Alliance are getting big, and a crucial item now for S4. Not going to be able to rely on chain hexes against him. If he gets this BKB off, Mouse are going to have trouble dealing with that RP.
Yeah, like the big disparity between the two supports in terms of items. Line sure has the spells, but how is he going to cast them? He doesn't have a Blink Dagger, and having an Orchid on the other side on the Windrunner, it's just so tough. That big gold deficit is really starting to take control. You want to farm late because you have things like Gyrocopter, you have a Lifestealer who's getting big pickups. Esfada's not a bad late game hero on that Queen of Pain, but it's so hard to go late because the Prophet could easily pick you up with the Cypher Vice and a couple of people coming to gank you, so it's tough here for Mouseboy to try to go late, but I think that's your only option at this point now.
There's about 4 minutes left or so on that Aegis, and you got to figure for the Alliance, they're at least going to take the tier 2 mid, try to knock down the tier 3 with this first Aegis. We'll see if they're able to do that, and for Mouse, you just farm what you can right now, but Possum might get caught in the jungle. He's on the run. Here goes Bulldog with that Shadow Blade, able to find him. Now able to Hex him. He has used his Hex just to try and focus down Possum. He'll Sprout him. He'll now bring in the Illusion, or not the Illusions, the trees. Loda jumps in. Loda cleans up the kill, now up to 6k. Pretty much has his Butterfly, and I think after this tower, he's just going to go and buy it.
Yeah, well, with that kill on pass, that's going to be tier 2. I don't think the Dire will challenge it. Queen of Pain knows this.
Oh, no. Cooldown blown here. It's not the longest cooldown ultimate, but without that, Mouse locking at AoE. Alliance may just be able to force their way up the ramp, and this is where you want to blow, though. Oh, Blink and RP catches out, too. This is trouble right now. Qualifier dropping low. Gets Skewer back in. He infested Black and says, Black, get me out of here. But can they get him out of there? BKB is up. Loda pops his own BKB. Not able to find the kill on the... It looks like Bulldog manages to pick up Qualifier, the lifesteal. Right as he pops out, was it the final bounce of his ultimate?
Yes, it was, and he was an armor toggle. He thought he was safe, but you're never safe from Ammo Bulldog. But right now, the tier 3 tower isn't safe. Alliance take it down. The range racks in big trouble as well. And well, they have a Sonic Wave ultimate. Are they going to use it right now to blow all the
Black.
creeps? They die on the racks, but Black in huge trouble. He doesn't have his BKB. I think he's going to be dead. Shackle shot onto 2. Skira comes in right now. Where's the damage? Yes, there is going to be damage. Bulldog a little bit of trouble, but here comes AM. AM says the fun stops now, as he is winning the team fight single-handedly. I think S4 might be dead.
Oh,
no.
Pause.
Well, Anti-Mage comes forward and Paz. Oh,
Big jukes. Loda not able to find him, and now Black. I mean, good luck fighting that MKB now. Forced to buy back to rejoin the fight, and that's really going to delay. His farm accomplishes very little with it. You could tell they felt desperate to make something happen, but Lumi, they didn't make anything happen, really. And in fact, Loda's coming back in once that range racks. Queen of Pain on the sidelines for a long time. That was a perfect Queen of Pain ult. Hit everyone. The problem is, too much farm, too many levels on these supports. A perfect Queen of Pain ult really doesn't do that much against Hand of God, against Mechanism. And they'll try to go in now on EGM, but he's got Wind Run. There's no way to counter this Wind Run right now, aside from that Scythe of Ice and Queen of Pain, and she is dead. Alex charges in. Oh, he's going to cop a lot of damage. He might even drop to the Soul Burn here. Not going to in the end. It will be Loda who cleans it up. Now Black. BKB charges again. Popping these like a kid will eat some candy. BKB thrown in there. Now going to look to take down the racks. He's got his Butterfly. Delivered in the midst of this fight. Another RP. Has this fight really been going this long? Apparently it has. Wicked sick for Loda. GG's will come out from Mouse Sports, and it's going to be the Alliance. I think there were like 85% favorites coming into this match from the bets on Join Dota and Gosu Gamers, and they show their supporters why maybe they deserve that with a convincing Game 1 victory in this best out of 3.
Nobody making any mistake on Alliance, any big ones. I saw it. And when you play a perfect game, Mouseport have to play perfect to match. And I don't think I've done it in this game. So Alliance take game 1 in a very convincing fashion. It's hard to ever actually bet against Alliance, and now you see why.
S4, you know, things like finding a solo kill on the Queen of Pain mid, it's just the little things that all added up. The solo kill there. Bulldog, sure, he wasn't farming very well top. Didn't end up dying too much this game. When we look at the final score, but 7-4-12, which, considering how much of a nuisance a thorn in their side he was, great all-around play from this team. EGM with the huge shackle shot. That won them the fight that was going their way. Loda, great play from him. Did not get caught at all. You can't really look at their performance and say, Alliance made any big mistakes this game. Sure, Heroes got caught out here and there. There was that one fight bottom, which Alliance shouldn't have taken, and ended up blowing an RP, giving away 3 heroes, only finding 2. That was like the only big fight or decision I think you could look at this entire game and say that's where Alliance screwed up, and it just wasn't enough Mouse. Too many mistakes from them. Alliance are going to take game 1. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a best of 3, so stay tuned. It's game 1 in the books. Alliance leading 1-0, but we're not done just yet. Game 2 in the best of 3 coming up next. Who's going to advance to face the winner of Navi versus Dignitas for the G1 Champions League? Find out after this.